signing books. You've had a great crowd so far, lots of people stopping by, and we appreciate the energy you brought to the conference. I think some of the things we'd like to talk about here is when you have that kind of energy, you know, it's infectious. And when you come to a conference like this, people may think of AP, they may think of AR, they may think of financial operations in general as not the most energetic group, but you can bring energy to your day and, you know, to your career, and you've proven that. So what do you have any tips specifically, some 3-4 tips, something like that, besides the actual book, yes, that you could share with us?
Well, you know, seriously, I think all leadership starts from the inside out. And so self-leadership from the inside out is really how do we take care of our physical body. When you come to conferences like this, they're pretty demanding on your physical side. I literally was up at 4:30 in the morning because I could make it to the gym at 5:30 before we started over here. I think diet is really important. It's hard when you're traveling like this to have a diet that has enough protein and complex carbohydrates with it. So when I say from the inside out, that's the exercise and nutrition. And I actually don't party. I know it's fun to be with your friends and stuff, and you know, and I'll hang out with them and I'll go to some of the things, but I wanted to be in bed by 8 o'clock. So part of that, my choice is how I do that. The other thing that I think for me is an energy inducement is curiosity. I'm so intrigued by the people that I meet, by the vendors that are here, that I want to learn more. And if you're curious, that mental connection of tell me more, tell me more. And last but not least, I think is also hanging out with some fun people. And I found that the staff has been incredibly fun and generous. The people here are fun, and not being afraid to laugh, because laughter does generate energy. And I do have one more point. I love what I do.
Good.
If I didn't love what I do, it would be really hard. You can't fake this kind of stuff. So if you love what you do, then you will have the energy to work.
And that, you know, leads into passion, of course. If you're passionate about what you're doing, then you're going to continue to do it, and, you know, be lively about it, and maybe want to share that passion with others. You're certainly doing that with your presentations, and when it comes down to actually doing the job, though, you know, people sometimes, even if they have exercise, even if they have, you know, been eating well and, you know, having a nutritious meal, they still have a lot of work to do. And you mentioned during your presentation that email consumes a lot of our time. Email is huge in this industry, and we're all snowed under with it. What are the best ways to tackle that problem?
All right.
Email?
First up, you know the old expression, garbage in, garbage out?
Yes.
Number one, don't send the garbage out. Some of us are responsible for that garbage out. Why do we hit reply all when the truth of the matter is they all don't need to have it? Number two, we need to teach people what email is important to us. So I literally have said, thank you for sending this. I don't need this information anymore. There's another trick, which is if you use no field do, which was what I spoke about in my presentation, can you write an email that is so succinct? This is what you need to know. This is why it's important. Here's what happens at the end of it. I think we also need to get out of the email doom loop, in which if I would have picked up a phone, we could have short-circuited about 50% of the emails. When everybody's chiming in, just shut up, pick up the phone and talk. Email stands for escalation and error. That's really why I wrote this other book, Talking Cheapest Priceless. So I think that we need to let the technology work for us rather than having the technology force us. And that's what we haven't done. So it's taking control again over what do I put out, what do I get in. Oh, the one other tip. You can also do something called NTN, no thanks needed. Teach everybody. If I send you something NTN, you don't need to tell me you got it. It's one less piece that I have to get.
Excellent. I'll ask you a question about another person that we heard speak earlier this week, and I had the privilege of speaking to, is Ed Robinson. I'd like to know how you know Ed, and maybe how your messages work together.
Ed and I, we finally figured it out. We think we've known each other about 20 years. And it is because we are in the speaking industry. And I met Ed years ago when I was chairing my professional conference for about 2,200 in San Antonio, which is where Ed's from. And I think that's when Ed and I first connected. And when you connect with people, you always can have rapport if you have the same kind of values. And Ed and I do. And so what was a great delight for me was hearing Ed speak, because while Ed and I are in the same profession, I've not gotten to hear him speak. So one of the wonderful things was, how could I take Ed's message? How could I take Cynthia's message with WorldCom? How could I take what Story said? And how could I bring that in so that it looked like it was a complete package for everybody?
Well, you did a great job with that, and everybody appreciates it. And one final thing, what would be the takeaway from this conference?
For me or for them?
For both.
Oh, my takeaway is, I said it, you guys are fun, funny, and intense. And I want to come back. And then the takeaway for this group, I would think if they could do one thing different, just one thing different that allowed them to feel that they were in control of their work or their personal lives, that would be a success. So just take one idea and put it to use. Don't put it away.
Thank you very much, Eileen. Appreciate it.
Okay.